Welcome back to Vox in a Box, the podcast that puts a voice in comics. I'm your host, Michael Corley. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are covering Classic X-Men number 72. In the 72nd episode of Vox in a Box, it is titled, my favorite title of all time, Professor Xavier is a Jerk. And in fact, it opens with Kitty Pryde, youngest member of the X-Men, saying just that. Why is she calling Professor Xavier, most powerful telepath on Earth, a jerk? Because she's been demoted to the New Mutants, to the newest group of the X-Men, and she is mad. She is yelling to her new friend, Illyana. As you may recall, Peter Rasputin's younger sister has been aged to a teenager and has joined the New Mutants. She and Kitty, out in the snow, are complaining about Kitty's fate. Illyana is saying, will you drop it already? You're going on and on about this demotion. And Illyana says, you know what'll really make you upset is if you miss your dance class. And she hauls her off. Cut to Wolverine and Nightcrawler. I'm amused to see Nightcrawler walking on the ceiling because, of course, Nightcrawler can stick to objects. He is talking to Wolverine, who has a backpack. Wolverine is leaving. Why? Because this is something Wolverine does from time to time. He needs some solitude, and he's going off on his own. This is also a great way to get Wolverine in his own miniseries. As Wolverine is packing, Nightcrawler and he are talking about Kitty's demotion. Wolverine is 100% in favor of Kitty staying with the X-Men. Why? Because she's proven herself again and again to be a valuable member, even though she is too young. Remember, Kitty has just turned 14. Nightcrawler is saying he can see both sides. One, he does believe Kitty has proven herself. She saved their lives several times. On the other hand, he doesn't want to see her get hurt. Speaking of pain, we cut to Charles Xavier in the danger room. He's got workout clothes on, got a cool little sweatband on his bald head, and he is practicing walking. Remember that he has recently been transferred his consciousness into a cloned body. The problem is his body believes his legs should still be in horrible pain, so whenever he tries to walk, it causes him agony. Lilandra is sitting in the control room. She is watching him. He's trying so hard to overcome this mental block, and he can't. He falls. She runs out to him, helps him up, hugs him, and she's saying, you know, you can come with me on the Starjammers ship. You can come help me reclaim my throne from my sister Deathbird. And he's saying, the last time that I left, Jean Grey ended up dying. And she is saying they both have commitments that they cannot ignore, reaching the point where no doubt one of them will have to leave the other. Back to Kitty Pryde. She is at Stevie Hunter's dance studio. Stevie Hunter is a longtime friend of the X-Men. She is teaching Kitty how to dance, but Kitty is distracted. It's like she's angry about something. When Kitty explains her demotion to Stevie Hunter, she's saying, you know, if this is that important to you, you need to fight for it. You need to stand up for what you believe in. Charles Xavier is a reasonable man. Just make your case. Back to Nightfall, we see Storm walking out in the snow wearing only a simple fur coat and nothing else, despite the fact that it is bitter cold. We know that normally Storm is immune to the effects of the weather because of her elemental powers. She knows that leaving Earth, having been so badly damaged in her infestation of the Brood, joining with the Akanti, all of these things have disrupted her natural ability to control the weather. She's trying to get back in tune. For a moment, she does. She sees the world in patterns of weather, but then suddenly a storm blows up out of nowhere. Wind begins blowing on Storm. She's freezing. She has to pull up her robe around herself. She is horrified. This is a fundamental part of Storm, and it's being denied her. Now we get to a montage of Kitty Pryde trying to convince Professor Xavier that she should be a part of the X-Men. First, she tries logic, saying that she can go places even Nightcrawler can't. No prison can hold her. Very few weapons can hurt her. Oh, and by the way, I'm very smart. They're playing chess, and she says, Professor, checkmate. She's saying it with passion. later that she saved the X-Men's lives. She deserves to be part of the X-Men. Or even cooperation that, hey, look at this. I'm working on my powers just like you want me to in the New Mutants. Look at this. I can even carry larger and larger objects by phasing, just by concentrating. Don't I deserve to be part of the X-Men? And finally, flattery. I don't usually quote the exact lines, but I love this so much. Gosh, Professor, I don't know what I'd do without you. I tell everyone that my professor's the handsomest, nicest, most wonderful man. We cut to Scott Summers, that is Cyclops, walking up to a ship. What ship is this? It is the one owned by Lee Forrester, who he had a romantic entanglement with. She is overjoyed to see him. We see that she has grown out her long blonde hair. They are walking together on the beach at sunset. He's saying that he's stopping by on his way to go visit his grandparents. He's found out recently that his grandparents are still alive, a very big deal to an orphan boy. She's asking if he'll come back, and he has to admit that he doesn't know. Poor Lee. She's just not doing very well in relationships with Cyclops because his role as an X-Men always seems to come first. Speaking of relationships, we cut to an apartment in New York City. Amanda Sefton, that is both a airline stewardess and a enchantress, is coming into her apartment. She finds that her apartment has been broken into. There are candles lit everywhere, a present sitting on the coffee table, and a final present, an adorable little stuffed Nightcrawler that Nightcrawler had left for her to remember him by. As you may recall, Amanda Sefton and Nightcrawler, that is Kurt Wagner, have been dating for quite some time, very long in the X-Men continuity, and he surprised her with a visit. As he puts it, I hope you've made do with my little doll. Now I'd like to give you the real thing. Aw, it's true love, Amanda and Kurt. Back to Xavier's school, we see Kitty Pryde is at the computer, something that we haven't gotten into too much, but Kitty is quite an accomplished programmer, and she's built a program to help sense the different X-Men in the mansion, and she sees a strange glitch and decides to check it out. We see her putting on her classic X-Men uniform. That is the black and yellow X-Men uniform. Now that she's in the New Mutants, she is no longer allowed to have her own uniform, just as the other New Mutants. She goes down deep into the tunnels and see that something's wrong. The lights are out. A cable has been chewed through. She contacts Professor Xavier by Psylink and lets him know that something is going on. He's telling her to be careful when suddenly something sneaks up behind her. It is a creature. It is the cute little dragon. The cute little dragon that had saved her life during the adventure with the Brood. It clearly had come on board when they left the planet before it exploded. The dragon is so happy to see her. It makes little noises like coo. But suddenly the dragon growls. She looks forward and sees the Sidrian Hunters. The Sidrian Hunters are the insect-like creatures that were sent to hunt down Corsair, that is Cyclops' father. They are alien bounty hunters, intelligent life, capable of firing energy beams from their eyes and joining together to form larger versions of themselves. One of them fires a blast at Kitty Pryde and she screams. Unfortunately, while Kitty's phasing ability makes her invulnerable to all physical attacks, not all energy attacks pass through her harmlessly. This one obviously does not. It knocks her for her loop. She realizes she's got to use the hours and hours that Wolverine has taught her fighting. She dodges the next attack. The dragon comes forward and lets loose with a roar. Professor Xavier is contacting her by Psylink and letting her know that these creatures are vulnerable to fire. And indeed, the little creature, the dragon, is burning them with his flames. She is saying Lockheed's already figured that out. Yes, she's already named this little dragon both after the plane that the X-Men fly, but also after the dragon from her story, Kitty's Fairy Tale. She body checks one, judo flips it to the ground, knocking it unconscious. But another one catches her from behind with its energy beam. It's moving in for the kill. A direct blast from it will surely kill her. She's ready. She thinks to herself, I wonder if it'll hurt. The thing fires its energy beam with a vrak. But we hear, Nyet! It is Colossus in his armored form. Professor Xavier has summoned him. His armored form is nearly invulnerable to all forms of attack and blocks the energy beam. The creature keeps trying to fire and fire and fire. Colossus continues to advance on him, its energy beams ricocheting harmlessly off him, and he finishes it with a single punch. The professor is telling them that they need to go and find the nest. There must be thousands of these Sidrian ready to hatch. But we see the little dragon, Lockheed, coming back, licking his lips, going, burp. And he has burned the remainder of the Sidrian eggs. And indeed, there were thousands of them just ready to hatch. And many of them have been consumed by the cute little dragon. Xavier is admitting he's wrong, that he was wrong to make her leave the X-Men. She proved herself capable of fighting these creatures, of obeying orders, of thinking fast. And he also adds, if I say no, your dragon will eat me, won't it? Hopefully he's joking, and Kitty is allowed to rejoin the X-Men. Now we cut to Anchorage, Alaska. Cyclops is arriving to find his parents. Corsair is with him dressed in normal clothes, along with Havoc, that is his brother, Alex. They're going to hop on a small plane that's going to take them to where his grandparents live. But the pilot walks up, a young, red-haired woman, and Cyclops can't believe it. He's thinking, I've gone mad. But Dad and Alex, they must see it too. Her voice, her face. This woman looks exactly like Jean Grey. Dead Jean Grey. The woman looks at them and smiles and says, welcome to Alaska. My name is Madeline Pryor. And that ends Classic X-Men number 72. I hope you've enjoyed this one with the best name of any that you could possibly hope for. Tune in next week, where we're going to cover a story of the Morlocks. The Morlocks have some very interesting characters, and I hope you'll tune in. If you've enjoyed this show, go to iTunes. Give me an iTunes review. I appreciate it. It helps people find the show. You have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.